Yeah, this is one of the craziest interviews I've ever recorded, and I'll be releasing it tomorrow, Friday, July 17th. It'll be a almost 4-hour epic conversation, but it will be worth it. Here's a preview. I recently sat down with Gene Sticco, pictured here, who has a very extensive background. And you may be asking, who is Gene Sticco? Well, let me explain. Gene Sticco retired from a career-spanning military service, the intel community, and big oil in 2017 when he became a corporate whistleblower in a landmark case against Shell Oil before the UK Supreme Court. Now, if you want more information about Gene's story with big oil and his whistleblower case, check out his book, Unconventional. This interview isn't about that case, but nonetheless, here's a quick preview.
The building behind me is Shell's UK headquarters. It's the most valuable company on the London Stock Exchange. If you have a pension, you almost certainly own some shares in Shell. They've also been operating in Nigeria for nearly 60 years, so they have the size and the expertise to meet that challenge.
In the way was Dan Atete, who acquired the field while he was oil minister. He was later convicted of money laundering in a separate case. For the first time tonight, Shell acknowledges they did engage with him to do the deal. Shell and the Italian oil company Eni acquired the field in 2011, paying $1.3 billion to the Nigerian government. That's more than Nigeria's health budget, but it didn't go on public services. Instead, more than $1 billion of it was passed to a company called Malabu, controlled by Atete. From there, according to documents filed by Italian prosecutors, nearly half was forwarded to the then President Goodluck Jonathan and members of his government.
Shell have always said that they only paid the Nigerian government. Today, Shell has changed its tune and they're now saying that they engaged with Dan Atete, a former oil minister and convicted money launderer.
Welcome to the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom. This is the oral summary of the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Upharvey and others, and Royal Dutch Shell plc and another. Having full regard to the parties' submissions and evidence, it has not been shown the asserted facts in the particulars of claim should be rejected as being demonstrably untrue or unsupportable. On that basis, the appellant's pleaded case, fortified by the points made in reliance on the two RDS internal documents so far disclosed, establishes that there are real issues to be tried in light of the guidance in Vedantum. That conclusion is further supported by the evidence of the appellant's witnesses and the very real prospect of further relevant disclosure being provided.
Then, Gene's father-in-law, Valeris Chernohayev, died in 2019, and everything changed. He left behind an archive of documents detailing the complex Soviet UFO reverse engineering program. First, he took on big oil. Now Gene is taking on the UAP industrial complex. Gene also claims his father-in-law's Russian documents have a connection with Bigelow's OSAP program from the early 2000s, all focused around the Thread 3 reports. Gene was also able to get the documents to whistleblower David Grush, and Gene also claims he was able to get the documents to Las Vegas journalist George Knapp, who has a history of working with Russian UFO documents. Gene wrote a book about all of this, titled Engineering Infinity, Earth's First Interstellar Blueprint.
Major funding for this special Frontline series is provided by this station and other public television stations nationwide. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Tonight, a Frontline special series of portraits of the people of the Soviet Union. This is Valera Krylov. He's 18 years old and about to go through a Soviet rite of passage. 2 years away from his family at military service. A rare look at the life of a recruit in the Soviet Army, at a journey that every young Soviet man must take. Tonight, Soldier Boy.
After he died is when we actually took a look at what he sent. And the short story of it was 119 pages of what I described as, and I have assessed as UFO reverse engineering.
And when you say UFO, do you mean like alien?
So
let's talk about the origins of the paper. So you said this came from your father-in-law. What job did he have in Russia that he got access to? Did he write this himself? He took it? Was this a accumulation of different papers or stories over time, a diary? Like, does that make sense? Like, where does all this information come from? If it's reverse engineered, it needs to be from something that was engineered, right? From something else.
correct. But my father-in-law writes in the papers himself, this is 22nd century technology.
Do the documents only describe one craft?
Yes.
What was his name? Am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah. So his name was Valery Chernohayev.
You mentioned at the beginning, like, that the documents include reverse engineering of some saucer or the UFO. Like, what does that mean exactly? That there's step by step of how to build this UFO from scratch?
Basically, yeah. Basically, you could assemble the whole thing.
But it was after the interview ended and we still spoke, and you said something to me that, I got to be honest, I couldn't stop thinking about it. But you said that you had recently spoke to Lou Elizondo and that he told you, quote, from Lou Elizondo's mouth, George works for me, referring to George Knapp.
Right.
If Lou's still working for the government, like, he's his asset. He only works for him. Like, he only responds to him. Like, what a weird comment for Lou to say, right? Like, did he ask you not to share that information?
No, not particularly.
Do you think he's telling other people? That just seems like a very weird thing for Lou to say, right? George works for me, meaning like I control him, right? I'm his boss.
Because people said, well, you think Lou still works for him? I don't know. Oh, yeah, obviously he's contracted with somebody to do something, right? And whether that kind of statement meant, he's the guy who pushes out the news, right? He's the one. We tell him what to do. I tell him what is going to go out and what's going to be the headline and what. I don't know. I'm can only speculating.
I mean, what else does that mean? How do you think Lou's going to respond to this?
I mean, I don't know. I don't particularly care.